welcome in today's video. We are talking about how your greatest fear is and has the key to your success, and why you should absolutely go where your fear is. And before I dive deeper, I want to invite you to my brand new masterclass, The Heart of Manifestation. If you're someone who wants to manifest your wildest dream, that masterclass is for you. You can find link in description. So, why should you go where your fear is? I mean, this is kind of obvious. Like, we all know that. The fear is actually illusion appearing real. It's false evidence appearing real. However, I actually want to give you a little backstory here, because once you understand that your fear literally has the key to your greatest success, you will no longer be so afraid to actually face your fear, but to really accept it and go through it. Because as you go through it, you will discover your true power and you will actually discover who you really are. So for me, one of my greatest fears was to be single. And this was a long time ago. We're talking 12, 14 years ago, when I was so afraid to actually be single that I was holding on to these toxic relationships that were absolutely no longer serving me, because I just was very scared to be alone. For me, being alone meant not to be good enough, not to be worthy of love, not to be fulfilled, not to be beautiful. And I was really doing everything to avoid being single. And this is very common, by the way. We are going through this period, many of us, but some of us actually stay in those relationships that are that needy relationships based on wrong set of values. Because if you enter the relationship because of this fear, guess what? You're going to find yourself having the wrong relationship, and you're going to find yourself living in a toxic relationship. Because as we know, every relationship is a reflection, it's a mirror of who you are. And the only way to have happy relationship, have a beautiful partnership, have a conscious partnership, is to become aware and to know who you are first. In other words, is to fall in love with you first. Only when you fall in love with you first, when you understand who you are and what you want to manifest next to you, what kind of partner you want to manifest next to you, only then you will actually manifest that partner. And so for me, one of my biggest fears was to actually be single. And because of that, I was doing everything I can to avoid breaking up with that particular person, even though that relationship was toxic, even though that relationship was very painful, even though that relationship was not serving me at all. I was still in that relationship because I was afraid to be single. But here's what happened. When I finally realized that I cannot run away from this fear of being single, and I decided to actually step in and face this fear. In other words, I was ready to be single, and I broke up with this person. My life completely shifted. Not only this was the biggest blessing of my life, because from that moment I was on this journey of self-discovery, and I was on this journey of finding who I am. I was on this journey of finding my own light, if you will. I was on this journey of self-love. And that journey is so worth it. And when I look back, it was not easy, but because of this journey, I can say that I found myself, I found my calling, I found who I am, I realized what I want in this life, I got to know myself. And as a result, I was then able to manifest my now husband that is the true representation of what I wanted to manifest, the kind of relationship I wanted to manifest. But this relationship would never be possible without me going through that journey of self-discovery, without me going through that awakening, without me actually experiencing that painful breakup that was a trigger, which was the biggest blessing in disguise. And as a trigger, it triggered that transformation that was necessary for me to find my own happiness within me, which is so important. Because if you are right now someone who is in a relationship, or you are holding on to any kind of relationship out of fear, guess what? You will never find yourself happy in that relationship, because that is the reason why you are feeling the way you're feeling. Life will always reflect who you are. People will reflect who you are. And the fact that you are afraid to be alone, it shows me that you don't know who you really are. Because when you get to know yourself, then you will no longer feel alone, and you will be absolutely happy to be with yourself. That's the beauty. And therefore, this illusion, this fear of being single, of being alone, is one of the greatest fears that is actually limiting us. Because you are not only bribing yourself of that experience that you can only have when you are alone, because the ultimate realization of who you are is when you're alone. Because when you're alone, you are truly with yourself, with your essence. And these are important times of our life, because this is the foundation of the next great relationship that you will attract. It's the foundation of your relationship with your partner, with your soulmate, with your husband, with your wife, or even with your child. Because if you don't know who you are, and you therefore don't love yourself, then how can you actually unconditionally love someone else, including your partner or your children? It's just not going to be as pure, as beautiful as it could be. And so, your greatest fear of being single is stopping you from discovering your greatest gift, and that is you. And this was actually inspired by one of my clients that I'm coaching privately, because I realized that there's so many women that actually do have this fear. And it doesn't matter how powerful you are at work or in business, there's still these fears that are blocking us from experiencing life to the fullest. And this is one of them. And here's the paradox. Like, once you actually understand that there's nothing scary to be alone because you actually enjoy the time alone, then another fear will show up, which is the fear of commitment. So I experienced both of these fears. There was a fear of being single, and then there was this fear of commitment. And it's quite interesting to see this duality playing out. And that's how I realized, actually, this is the biggest illusion, because there is nothing to be afraid of. Because every situation, whether you're in a relationship or you are single or you are entering the relationship, it is the experience that is going to shape you. And instead of fearing that experience, open up to it, because that experience has a lesson for you. And we evolve through these lessons. And we need these lessons to evolve. So be grateful and step in, because you will find out that because of this greatest fear, you will then discover the greatest gift. So let me know, what do you think? Leave a comment below. And if you wish to manifest your wildest dreams, I invite you to my new masterclass, Heart of Manifestation, link in description. And I will see you in my next video.